If you believe in the great physician, then this video is for you. Let's look at Sirach Ecclesiasticus chapter 38 to find out what a physician is and what they do. Esteem a physician with the esteem due to him, for the uses which you may have for him, for Yahuwah has created him. For healing comes from the Most High, and he shall receive esteem from the Sovereign. The skill of the physician shall raise his head, and in his sight of great men he shall be admired. Physician comes from Greek 2390, so let's look at that word. 𝐤𝐄, I heal. Okay, this is what a physician does. Healing, particularly as supernatural, and bringing attention to the Adonai himself as the great physician. So is your doctor bringing you the great physician's word when you go to him? Okay, is your MD, well, we know they can't use a C word, so it says seeing to free one of literally from disease, to make whole, to free from errors and sins, to bring about one's salvation. So are they asking you if you're celebrating the Sabbath day? Are they asking you if you're a liar or a cheater? This is what a physician does. An MD, that's created in Babylon. Okay, so now we know what a physician does. It makes one whole by freeing them from errors and sins. Okay, so let's go back to verse 4. Yahuwah has created medicines out of the earth, and he who is wise does not reject them. So the things that they put in your arm or give you to put in your mouth are actually made of petroleum and heavy metals and other things. So it's not made, well, technically, I guess that's out of the earth. But out of the earth means fruits, herbs, vegetables, leafy greens, root vegetables, sea vegetables. That's what Yah gave us for medicine. Hallelu-𐤄𝐉𝐄. Was not the water made sweet with wood, that its power might be known? And he has given men skill, that he might be esteemed by his marvelous works. Now, it is illegal for an MD in America to tell you to stop eating unclean foods and to tell you to eat whole foods. They can only prescribe you the craft and supplements. With such he heals and takes away their pains. Of such the perfumer makes a perfume, and his works there is no end, and from him there is peace all over the earth. My son, in your sickness do not be slack, but pray to Yahuwah, and he shall heal you. Cease from sin, and order your hands well, and cleanse your heart from all wickedness. So we know that sin creates disease and our wickedness comes on us. So we have to cleanse our hearts from sin and wickedness and make our hands well. Offer a sweet fragrance and a remembrance of fine flour, thanksgiving, and make an offering of fat of your being. So give place to the physician, for Yahuwah has created him. Do not let him leave you, for you have need of him. There is a time when there is good success in their hands. For they shall also pray to Yahuwah, that he would prosper that which they give, for ease and health to prolong life. He who sins before his maker, let him fall into the hand of the physician. Because remember, the physician helps to correct your errors and your sin, to make you whole again, to bring about salvation. My son, let tears fall down over the dead, and begin to lament, as if you had suffered great harm yourself. Then cover his body according to the custom, and do not neglect his burial. Weep bitterly, and make a great mourning with lamentation, as he is worthy. And that a day or two, lest you are spoken of evil. And then comfort yourself for your grief. For from grief comes death, and heaviness of the heart destroys strength. In affliction, sorrow also remains. And the life of the poor is the curse of the heart. Take no grief to heart. Drive it away, and remember the latter end. Do not forget it, for there is no returning again. You shall do to him no good, but harm yourself. Remember my judgment, for so shall yours be also. Yesterday for me, and today for you. When the dead is at rest, let let his remembrance rest, and be comforted for him when his ruach has departed from him. The *𝐤𝐤𝐄𝐄, the wisdom of a learned man, comes by opportunity of leisure, and he who has little business may become wise. How shall he who holds the plow attain wisdom? And who sharpens the goad, who drives oxen and is occupied in their labor, and whose talk is of bulls? He gives his minding to making furrows, and is diligent to give the cattle fodder. So every carpenter and worker that labors night and day, and those who cut and engrave seals, and are diligent to make great variety, and give themselves to copy imagery, and watch to finish a work, also the smith sitting by the anvil and considering the iron work. The smoke of the fire weakens his flesh, and he fights the heat of the furnace. The noise of the hammer and the anvil is constantly in his ears, and his eyes are fixed on the pattern of that which he makes. He applies his hand to finish his work, and watches to polish it perfectly. So the potter sits at his work, and turns the wheel around with his feet, who is also focused at his work, and makes all his work by number. He molds the clay with his arm, and bows down his strength before his feet. He applies himself to the glazing, and he is diligent to clean the furnace. All these rely on their hands, and everyone who is skilled in his work. Without these, a city cannot be inhabited, and they could not dwell there, and they could not dwell where they do, nor go up and down. They shall not be sought in public council, nor sit in the assembly. They shall not sit on the seat of judges, nor understand the ruling of judgment. They cannot declare righteousness and right ruling. They shall not be found where parables are spoken, but they maintain the face of the world, and their desire is in the work of their craft. Oh, Hallelu-𝐤𝐉𝐄𝐄. What came to you from this, family? I'd love to hear your thoughts. I know I went to MDs for my whole life, and all I just kept getting was more sick and more sick and more sick. And finally I became disabled in bed, and I called on the great physician, and this is exactly what he's taught me over the last 7 years, is to cleanse and purify my mind, my heart, my ruach, and my nefesh, my soul, of all unrighteousness, of all wickedness, of all evil. Make my hands right, and then he would heal me. And that's exactly what he did. And a sweet fragrance offering of thanksgiving that heals the bones, literally. So for me, it just totally all made sense on what I've learned after 30 years of straight up affliction, going to MDs, and then finally submitting myself to the great physician and being healed, setting my ways straight, turning from error. And he made me whole again, family. Autoimmune diseases, heart disease, blood diseases, I don't even know, you name it, gut diseases, mind diseases, all these, oh, it's you, incurable. Nah, nothing is impossible with Elohim. But with man, it's absolutely impossible. That is true. Hallelujah.